Hi guys, today's video is how to increase your property value. Number one is to replumb and rewire the property. This is a great asset to a buyer, I feel, in my opinion, purely because of the amount of sheer work that's involved when having to lift floorboards, chisel through walls and ceilings in order to get the wiring as well as the piping through on both wiring and the plumbing. So this is a great saver for the buyer, that he doesn't need to, or she doesn't need to, go out and do all this work, as well as yourself. When you come to selling your property, you should aim to get a little bit more. Tip number two is structural issues. So if your property has any kind of roof repair, cracked tiles in the roof, structural in regards to your walls that are cracking, that need fixing, as well as any kind of damp issues that are arising in the property, all these sorts of things need to be looked at in more detail before selling a property, because when the buyer does see this, he will negotiate and haggle as much as he can in order to get the best price. Another good suggestion is clever storage ideas. It's always good to utilize dead space and make use of that. So this is something that I definitely recommend. Along with that, you could do a small change with grouting the bathroom or kitchen. A good lick of paint doesn't go bad and helps the property with a good uplift. Nice lights and fixtures and fittings of that sort does definitely help as well. Smaller things, if you don't have the budget to fit a fully fledged kitchen in, is just change the units. So tip number three, it's a bit of a chunky investment, but I'd see it as a long-term investment which will give you a good return when selling, is install a new kitchen or go for a loft conversion. If you can do both, that's fantastic, but I would prefer to lean towards doing a loft conversion, simply because you get an extra bedroom which will add more value onto your property. Tip number four is having a driveway able to park your cars with a drop down curve. If you already have a drive, then I would suggest maybe sprucing it up once more if it's very old. If you don't have a drive and you are able to put a drive down, definitely go down that route and get a drop curve so vehicles are able to park on the property. That's a very good way of getting more value for your property, I believe. Alongside that, the garden and the landscaping. A lot of the time, buyers spend a lot of their money in the property, and towards the end neglect the garden or run out of money to do the garden. So it's very nice to see a property, what they are purchasing, that has a garden already landscaped and completed, ready for them to use in the summer. So tip number five is, if you are able to add planning and sell, that would be brilliant. It costs a couple of £1,000s usually to put a planning application in place. However, you could get many thousands more when selling your property. If you have a double story or a rear double story with a loft, the councils, if they do approve this, when the buyers do look to purchase the property, they can see what the scope is available to them, considering what the councils have given permission for. Guys, those are the 5 tips that I put together to increase your property value. I've also put quickly together 5 don'ts that I feel that do not add any property value really of any sort to your property. So I'm just going to run through them. Number one, I would say, is windows. People can spend a fortune on getting their windows and doors fitted, but really they do not really get that gain when looking to sell their property. So I would say do not really look at getting your windows done unless you really have to. Number two is en-suites. It's great to have one en-suite in a master bedroom, but don't go crazy and start having 3-4 bathrooms on different floors throughout the property. It just does not add any value, and also you are probably taking out bedrooms in order to get those bathrooms in there, so that's a big no-no. Tip 3 is conservatories. They're generally very expensive, and you don't really usually get the value back from it, so I would rather go and do an extension rather than pay for the conservatory, for money. Number 4, I would say, is CCTV and alarm system. Sometimes these can cost many thousands of pounds to install and rewire. However, when coming to sell, you probably get a couple of £100. So I would say that's something that I would steer clear away from. And number 5 is your porch. I wouldn't really go ahead and spend a couple of £1,000s again anywhere from £2,000-3,000 all the way up to £5,000 on a porch, and look for that value back, because usually buyers don't really see much value in a porch when coming to bid. So something like that, I would say pull back on it and save that money and utilize that elsewhere in your property. So guys, those are the 5 don'ts. I've also added the 5 do's in there on what to do to increase property value of your own. I hope this video was helpful and informative. Please do like and share and subscribe to our channel and help the channel grow with us. And I'll see you in the next one.